everyone, and welcome to the channel. I am Ryan or Sableye, and I do a lot of competitive Pokemon stuff, but today we're going to be talking about eggs and everything we need to know to breed competitive Pokemon for our teams in Scarlet and Violet. We're going to start things off nice and simple. We're going to try and keep things very short and to the point today, guys. I don't want to go too in depth with percentages and numbers. A lot of the times that stuff is not really relevant, so if you're looking for percentages, numbers, and exact like stuff, this is not the guy for you. But if you're just looking to be able to get Pokemon, get competitive Pokemon, breed them, get your eggs ready, and be ready to go for VGC or any other competitive purposes in the game, then then stick around and we're gonna learn together. So to start things off, how to find eggs. As you may have noticed, there is no daycare in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So the egg breeding mechanics become slightly different. Not overly different, but slightly different. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a party of two Pokemon. And now these Pokemon need to either be of the same egg group, which I'll get into in a minute, or they need to have one of them be a Ditto. Ditto is the universal breeding mon. So Ditto can basically breed with anything that is also capable of being bred. So egg groups, and by egg groups I mean every single Pokemon belongs to either one or two egg groups. Off the top of my head, I couldn't list them. They're not super relevant, but they are relevant if you're trying to breed something like a Meowscarada and a Wailord. They can't be bred together. It's just not possible, right? So if you're looking for specific egg groups for specific two Pokemon to be put together, SableyeVGC has a list of all the egg groups and everything in each egg group. I will link that down below. That's definitely something you want to check out if that's your case. But for me, for competitive purposes, that's not super important right now. But if you need it, that's the list. It's not something you memorize, in my opinion, but it's there if you need it, which is fair. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna go in with your two compatible Pokemon, whether it's a Ditto and a Pokemon or two compatible Pokemon, into the picnic, and you're just gonna wait. There's going to be a little basket beside the picnic table, and eventually that's going to have an egg in it, or multiple eggs in it. You can basically sit there and do nothing. Eventually eggs will spawn the longer you wait. Now, how do you determine which egg it is? Well, if you're breeding with a Ditto, it will always be the non-Ditto parent. So if I have a Meowscarada and a Ditto, the egg will always be a Sprigatito egg. It will never be a Ditto egg. Ditto does not breed. However, if I have a... Just for sake of example, if I have a Meowscarada and a let's just pick another grass type here, because and a Rillaboom, let's just say Meowscarada and Rillaboom. If I have a female Rillaboom and a male Meowscarada, the female parent is what will determine which child I will get. So if it's a female Rillaboom and a tongue twister, and a male Meowscarada, say that 3 times fast, it will be a Grookey egg. If I have a female Meowscarada and a male Rillaboom, it will be a Sprigatito egg. It is always based off the female parent or the non-Ditto parent. That is how you determine which egg you will receive. Now, there is tons of ways, not tons of ways, there are items and everything in the game that can boost the ability to find an egg. This is important because, personally, I don't want to be sitting there for 7 years waiting for this one egg to pop. I think they spawn about like every 3 to 5 minutes, generally speaking. But you can get boosts from the sandwiches. In case you noticed when you were playing through the game, you have this, obviously the different sandwiches, you have the catching boosts and everything like that. Yes, there are boosts for eggs as well. Obviously you have level 1 boost, level 2 boost. Level 2 boosts are stronger, of course. They affect things faster. You will be finding eggs very, very fast. I'm not going to go too in depth with the sandwich boosts and everything like that. I will leave a link though, however, to SableyeVGC with their egg power boosting ingredients, so definitely feel free to check that out if you're looking to find eggs a lot faster. Definitely where you want to go. You could also buy pre-made sandwiches, which is another option as well. Some of those give egg boosts as well. Definitely a decent opportunity to check that out, because you don't want to be sitting there forever. Okay, but now you know how to breed, or you know how to get your eggs, and you know how to speed up the process of getting eggs. Let's talk about hatching eggs. Why not hatch them, right? Hatching eggs, the exact same concept as it has been every other generation. Once again, there is a predetermined number of steps that determine how long it's going to take to hatch the egg. Something like a Magikarp will hatch very fast, and something like a pseudo-legendary in Garchomp will take a lot longer to hatch. But like I said, it's predetermined, and there are 3 abilities that will allow this process to be cut in half. It is Steam Engine, Flame Body, and Magma Armor. Any one of those 3 Pokemon you want to have in your party while you're hatching eggs. So as you can see on screen right now, I'm going to have a Colossal on screen just because that's the one I had. It is currently Steam Engine, and that's going to allow my eggs to hatch in half the time, twice as fast. However you want to word that, but it's going to cut the breeding process fairly quickly, right? You definitely want to be doing that if you're going to be hatching eggs. But that's basically the way to do it. Little trick that I recommend is you can do this in any city or town, but I do recommend doing it beside a watchtower, because on a watchtower you can spin around, not have to worry about encountering any other Pokemon, and you don't have to actually fly to a city. So you picnic beside the watchtower, get out of the picnic, run on over to climb up the watchtower into the little round spot, and you just circle around a little bit. That's the way I would do it. Just picnic beside a watchtower cuts down on the flying time to a city, and then because you can't camp in a city anyway, so it just cuts down on flying time a little bit faster, in my opinion. Now you can realistically just run around wherever you want. If you want to run around on a regular area, because Pokemon in the overworld you can see shinies. If you want to run around the overworld and see if you can pick up a shiny while you're hatching eggs as well, that's another option. Just if you're looking to hatch as fast as possible, I would recommend doing it right beside a watchtower, jumping into the watchtower, spinning around on your Miraidon in there, or Koraidon, and then hatching your eggs. So now we know how to hatch them, but now let's talk about actually getting these eggs ready for competitive. When it comes to breeding, there are 3 main things you're looking for in your eggs. You're looking for the Pokemon's IVs, you're looking for the Pokemon's natures, and you're looking for the Pokemon's ability. So we're gonna start with natures because it's probably the easiest one to explain. There's a nature for every stat minus HP. So you can have a positive attack nature and a minus special defense nature. So every nature affects the Pokemon stats. It's +1 and minus another one, or it's completely neutral and it does nothing. If you're looking for a full list of natures, once again, I will leave a full list of natures down below. But take, for example, something like Adamant, which is what I'm using for my Meowscarada. It's going to be plus attack minus special attack. Now, that's just happens to be the Meowscarada I had. But anyways, Adamant is plus attack minus special attack. You're looking for a full list of natures, feel free to check out that link down below. But more importantly, for breeding, the nature will not pass down unless the Pokemon is holding an Everstone. So the nature is completely random unless you're holding an Everstone. If you're holding an Everstone, it will match the Pokemon that you breed will have the same nature as the Pokemon that was holding the Everstone. So in this case, if I had a Meowscarada and I was Adamant and I was holding an Everstone, the natures of every Sprigatito I would breed would be Adamant. Simple. Abilities are probably the next easiest one to explain. Every Pokemon has a certain set of abilities. Some have hidden abilities, some have just 2 regular abilities, some have 1 regular ability and a hidden ability. But long story short here is a hidden ability will breed down to a hidden ability more often than not, but it is not guaranteed. So I have my hidden ability, I will breed down. Sometimes it will be the hidden ability, and sometimes it will be of the other 1 or other 2 abilities that it has, not the hidden ability. Now, I don't know exact numbers here, as I was saying earlier, but I'm going to spitball and say it's probably around 60%. I believe that's what it's been in the past. I don't know the numbers in Scarlet and Violet, but once again, the numbers don't really matter here. Just know that if you have a hidden ability, sometimes it'll breed down to a hidden ability, and sometimes it will not breed down to the hidden ability. It will be the regular ability. There is nothing you can do to manipulate that, like how you have the Everstone with the natures. You can't guarantee that coming out with the abilities. That's just what it is. You get what you get. The IVs, however, there are ways to pass down IVs. Now, IVs, I'm talking about when you go to the little judge feature. If you've beaten the game, Nurse Joy gives you the judge feature. You go to the judge feature, and it says like best, no good, decent. Those are IVs, right? And generally speaking, you're going to want best in all of them, or as many ones that matter. So let's take Dragapult for a quick example here. This Dragapult I actually caught in a raid, so it's just going to be a decent example here. But we have Best in every stat except special attack. I'm going to use this Dragapult as a physical attacker anyways, so I don't care that the special attack isn't great. So if this is something I was breeding, and this was a level 1 Dreepy, I'd say, hey, these are the stats I want. I want best in HP, attack, defense, special attack, sorry, not special, HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. Those are what I want my Dreepy to be good in, right? And generally, you're going to want 5 out of 6 things to be good, generally speaking. So it's really important to have proper IV parents going into the breeding mechanics, because you want to be able to pass down as much as you can. Now, this is why 5 IV Dittos, 6 IV Dittos, this is why you hear people talking about that, because Ditto can breed with anything, and if the Ditto has good IVs, it's really easy to pass down. Of course, you can manipulate as well with power items, which I'll get into in a minute. I'll do that after we talk about egg moves, but power items pass down a specific stat entirely. So let's say, take my Dragapult, and I wanted, you see how the special attack stat isn't perfect? But let's say sometimes you don't want it perfect, like if I was doing Trick Room. But for now, right now, special attack, let's say I wanted to pass that exact special attack IV down. I could throw, I think it's the power item associated with special attack. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I would throw that on there. You guys, I'm going to have the list of power items for you guys on the screen, but I would throw the special attack power item on there, and then I would breed it, and every single Dreepy that came out of the egg would have the exact same special attack IV. This is really handy when it comes to Trick Room, because if I have a 0 speed of, let's say, a Moongus, and I want to pass that 0 speed to every Fungus I breed, because Amoonguss is generally wanting to be slow, I would be able to throw a power anklet on my Amoonguss, since it's the speed corresponding power item, and every single Amoonguss egg, or Fungus egg in this case, would be min speed. But we'll get into that a little bit more. I will go into full-on details with those in a second, but that is the gist of it. Egg moves. Much easier this generation. So every Pokemon can learn egg moves. Basically, it's moves that they used to only be able to obtain by breeding with another Pokemon. Now, what makes it so easy this generation is you no longer need to breed with another Pokemon. For this example, we're going to use Grimmsnarl and Parting Shot. If you guys are looking for what egg moves Pokemon can learn, definitely check out, once again, Cerebi.net. I will leave a link. You just go to the Pokemon page. If you scroll down a little bit, it'll say egg moves, and you can click details, and you can see full details of everything there. But that's not as important. The only thing you really need to know about egg moves is which egg moves Pokemon get. Once again, that page on Cerebi will take you to there. We'll take you to that, no problem. Because you don't actually need to be in the same breeding group anymore. You don't even need to have an egg move anymore, which is really nice. So the way this works now is you're going to want to have a mirror herb. If you do not have a mirror herb, you can go buy one at the Cascarafa Delibird store. I would buy a few personally myself, that way, because one, it's an interesting competitive item, could be decent there, so you maybe want one for the competitive side and one for thing. But anyways, you can go buy one, or as how many ever you like. And basically the concept here is you're going to have the mirror herb on the Pokemon that you want to learn the move. So in this case, I want my Grimmsnarl to have Parting Shot. Parting Shot is an egg move. So I'm going to have my mirror herb on my Grimmsnarl, and I'm going to remove a move so that I have an empty move slot. And then I'm going to have anything, it can be anything, that learns Parting Shot. It doesn't have to be in the same egg group, doesn't have to be a different gender. It can be literally anything that has Parting Shot. You can put those together, you can throw them in the party. I recommend just those two. You can do it with 3 or 4 Pokemon, but then that's sometimes complicated in case one of them has a different egg move or whatever that also learns. So I recommend, just for simplicity's sake, have 2 Pokemon, have the one Pokemon with the empty move slot and the mirror herb, and the other Pokemon that has the egg move that you wanted to know. Go to the picnic, just those 2 Pokemon in your party, wait around a bit. Exact timing is up in the air. I can't see it taking longer than 2 to 3 minutes, if that. Might be quicker, don't quote me on that timing, but anyways, wait a little bit, maybe play around with some of your Pokemon. Doesn't need to be, you could literally stand there and just wait. You could stand there, run down, go prepare dinner, come back up, and then take the Pokemon out of the picnic. You're right, an event, and it will pass over. That's the easiest way to get egg moves, rather than breeding it down with certain parents. It's just so much easier this way, in my opinion, that's the way I would recommend doing it. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about how these items that I mentioned earlier actually go about affecting the egg. The power items we'll talk about first, which is power weight, power lens. Like I said, I'll list them. I'm not going to name them all, but they will pass down the exact stat. Most commonly, you're going to see this with speed stats because that's the one you're going to want 0 sometimes for Trick Room teams, right? You're going to want that Pokemon moving first in Trick Room because it's a super slow Pokemon. So let's take, for example, a Fungus. If I give Fungus a power anklet, since that is the speed training power item, and I breed it with a Ditto, and my Fungus, let's say, has 17 speed IVs. If I put a power anklet on it, every Fungus I breed will have 17 speed IVs. So this is obviously important if you have a 0 speed IV Fungus, because then you can always transfer down Fungus. All your Funguses with eggs will have 0 speed IVs with the power items. That works for every stat with their appropriate power item, of course. And the Destiny Knot is where this comes into a little bit more play, I guess you could call it. Destiny Knot is probably the more common one. Power items are very niche and very specific for like when you want Trick Room. You're not necessarily required, but sometimes like IVs, right? You can patch IVs, right? Like if I have 17, I can always bottle cap to get to 31 to make it perfect, right? But I can't make I can't take 17 and make it 0, right? So that's where that becomes important. Okay, Destiny Knot. As I was saying, the more common of the two IV manipulating items, if you want to call them that, Destiny Knot will take 5 of the 12 IVs from the parents. So each set of Pokemon, each Pokemon has 6 IVs for one corresponding to each stat. So that's where I get 12 from. There's one parent A and parent B. You have 6, you have 6. The Destiny Knot will take 5 of those IVs and pass them down. Exactly. At random, of course, so it's not amazing, but it is the best way to do it. And this is why having that 6 IV Ditto or that 5 IV Ditto that everybody always talks about really helps and speeds up the breeding process. Now, obviously, you can get away with without great IVs, go to level 50 and bottle cap if you choose to do it that way. But sometimes just having, in my opinion, if I'm 1 or 2 IVs off, I'm okay with that. I'll just go bottle cap it. But I don't want to have to be wasting 6 bottle caps just to get everything boosted up, right? So I always try to have a little bit of decent IVs before I start spending bottle caps, right? Just kind of cut down on the bottle cap usage. Anyways, but the Destiny Knot will pass down 5 of 6. So in a case, let's just say Ditto and Meowscarada. It might take Meowscarada's attack, Meowscarada's defense, Ditto's speed, Ditto's special defense, and Ditto's special attack. That's 5. It'll pass those down, and that's what that'll look like, right? So that's probably the easiest way to get 5 IVs. The problem, one thing I am going to disclaimer here, is that sometimes it will take the same stat from both Pokemon. So you might say, oh, well, if I have 5 IVs on Ditto and 5 IVs on Meowscarada, I'm pretty much set. It's going to be very quick. Well, the case is sometimes it'll take Meowscarada's attack stat and Ditto's attack stat. If they were both best, it took 2 of the same stat, but basically only passed down 1 stat, right? It doesn't realize that, the game doesn't realize that, like the attack stats, it can take both. It doesn't realize that it should only take 1 of them. It does randomly pull both. So sometimes you will end up with a not as good egg, I guess we'll call it. I was gonna call it a bad egg, but that's very misleading because for other reasons. But bad eggs is technically the term for eggs that are just kind of illegal and hacked in and just don't generally not work. But we're not gonna talk about those. We're not here for that. But basically, the IVs, Destiny Knot passes down 5 of the IVs. So good parents is super important when this is coming down to the competitiveness of the IVs on your child Pokemon. Natures. As I mentioned earlier, the Everstone will pass down to Nature. This is going to be basically a summary. There's nothing crazy, no crazy interactions here. You can have a Ditto with an Adamant Nature, and if you give it the Everstone, every child that you breed will have a Adamant Nature. Simple as that. Nothing too crazy there. Abilities I already touched upon. Nothing. Once again, nothing. You can't really do much here. That's just basically if you have a hidden ability, you can get the hidden ability. If you don't have a hidden ability, you cannot breed down for a hidden ability. Long story short there. I touched upon it earlier. That was just a quick recap. I say we're going to look into some examples here. We've got Ditto and a Fungus for you guys. These are my examples. Why? Because that's just the 2 I chose. It's easier to show the power anklet scenario with a min speed Pokemon. Once again, Power Anklet is very niche. You don't really need it. I'm not really too concerned about it. You can get away without it. You can just hope for good luck in getting a 0 speed IV, which is possible. All right, if you don't have a 0 speed IV Amoonguss to actually pass down the stat to, there's no real worry with that. It's eventually you're gonna get one with luck, but I would say once you get one with luck, I would then go put that one with the Ditto and pass it down with the Power Anklet, because the 0 speed is harder to obtain than it is to maybe fix in nature. But example time, we have Ditto with a Destiny Knot and Foongus with a Power Anklet. The Foongus will always be passing down its speed IV. Ideally, you'd want 0 in this case for Foongus, generally speaking. Sometimes that's changing, and it will pass down 4 other IVs at random. You guys are saying the Destiny Knot passes down 5 though. Well, the Power Anklet is forcing it to take the speed stat, the Foongus speed stat, as one of them, so only 4 others will transfer down. You can also have Ditto with a Destiny Knot and Foongus with an Everstone. This will pass down 5 of the IVs at random from the 2 Pokemon, along with the Foongus's nature. You can also have Ditto with an Everstone and Foongus with a Power Anklet. This will not pass down any IVs except for the Foongus speed stat. I would never recommend this in my opinion, unless you have 62 million bottle caps and you're cool with it, and you're really more concerned with the nature. But I do think it's easier to purchase a mint and just put a mint onto Pokemon to fix the nature, rather than it is to get a bottle cap and then level up to 50, so to speak, in that regard. I just think, personally, I think it's easier, but this is still a scenario I wanted to showcase. This will keep the IVs completely random, minus the Foongus speed, which you're going to keep the same here because of the Power Anklet. Once again, guys, if I wanted to keep Foongus's defense stat while breeding down, because for whatever reason, I wanted Foongus at 17 defense IVs, I could, if I had an Amoonguss at 17 defense IVs, I could throw the power item that's associated with defense, and I would always be passing down defense. I just think Power Anklet is really the only one you're going to use this for the min speed stuff. Everything else is kind of, it's okay to be up in the air. It's not really too concerning. I guess maybe 0 attack if you're worried about foul play, but that's a minuscule one. That's really more of a fine-tuned thing that you really don't need to know right now. It's just, like I said, I wanted to bring up the concept, because if I did a breeding guide and didn't talk about the ability to breed down 0 speed IV Pokemon, I feel like I would be doing you guys a disservice. So anyways, like I said, this will pass Ditto with the Everstone and Foongus with the Power Anklet will pass down the Ditto nature and the Foongus's speed stat. Now guys, don't get me wrong, these are all interchangeable. 100% interchangeable. So back in the first example there, I've got Ditto with the Destiny Knot and Foongus with the Power Anklet. But Ryan, what if my Ditto is the one with the 0 speed IVs? No problem. You can switch those two around. Give Ditto the Power Anklet and Foongus the Destiny Knot. That will then take Ditto's speed stat down, and it will the Destiny Knot can be on either Pokemon. The Destiny Knot will always grab from both Pokemon. It doesn't matter which Pokemon the Destiny Knot is on. The Everstone does indeed matter, and the power items matter. It has to be on that specific Pokemon. Other than that though, the Destiny Knot can be on whichever one you want. So maybe on this second example here, you've got Ditto with a Destiny Knot and Foongus with the Everstone. But what if Ditto has the nature I want? Okay, we'll give Ditto the Everstone and give Foongus the Destiny Knot, sort of thing, right? That's kind of the way to look at that. And I think that covers everything. After this, you're ready to EV train. I'm not sure if I'm going to do an EV training guide yet. If you guys want something like an EV training guide, let me know. I'd be happy to make one for you guys. But with that, I think we're going to just about wrap this one up, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and that you guys are going to be able to get some decently competitive eggs in a quick and timely fashion. Unfortunately, there's a few things I do want to point out. That you cannot pass down a Terra type, which is a crime in my opinion. I feel like Game Freak really dropped the ball on that one. That's a little unfortunate. So the Terra type will always be one of the 2 types of the actual Pokemon. So if I'm breeding a Sprigatito, it will always be grass. If I'm breeding a Slowpoke, let's say, it will always be water or psychic. I can't pass down my rock type Slowbro, unfortunately. It has to be that way, and we can always change those later, but we're not going to talk about that right now. I believe that covers everything. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did miss anything, feel free to leave a comment down below, but I think that covers it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in a future video.